Welcome to ELL 204. Quick story to tell you guys. My wife and I are pregnant. We're in the hospital, right? Sitting in this room with a bunch of other prego couples, and some jackass is literally chewing tobacco, spitting it into a Pepsi bottle in front of all these pregnant women. Look, I don't know if you know much about pregnant women. The most disgusting, horrible thing you can do. I think he's just holding the bottle. Just holding it. But I tell you what, we got a new sponsor, Zippix Toothpicks. No chaw, no spit, no smoke, my friends. Zippix, Zippix toothpicks.com. Give you that nicotine feel. They give you that hand to mouth feel. 2 milligram, 3 milligram toothpicks. You decide how much nicotine you get in there. It is amazing. Wish I'd thought of it. They got 6 different flavors that are fantastic. It's non-inhalation nicotine, but it still allows you to chew and suck and kind of like get that feel in your mouth. They cost less than cigs. They cost less than that disgusting dip I was talking about. They cost less than about everything nowadays because everybody's taxing the living crap out of you, as I know, living in LA, and most of you live in New York. Guys, check them out. Amazing. ZippixToothpicks.com. Try out one of 6 different flavors. Use the promo code LION to get 10% off. ZippixToothpicks.com.
Welcome to Electric Libertyland, here on the Lions of Liberty podcast, your weekly shot of culture, comedy, and liberty with your host, Brian McWilliams.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Grab another turkey leg, because this is our very special Thanksgiving 2020 show. 2 special guests here, everybody. Count them. 1, 2. One of whom you guys all know very, very well. That is Felony Friday's own John Odermatt. Odie, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Brian. And I can't believe it. We actually got to drink and laugh in person last weekend. So that was,
we did. We'll get to that after I bring in my other special guest. You guys never thought I'd get him. I've been talking him up for weeks. Let's hit the graphic. All right. What's going on with Schneider Watch? And we're back to announce no news on Rob Schneider, everybody. Welcome, J.B. Lubin, to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I feel like it's been a little bit, but I feel like just a last minute. I just made the roster. Now I'm already on the field. Don't know the place, but yeah,
man.
Give me the damn ball anyway.
You're my number one Schneider backup. Yeah, I know. Whatever Rob Schneider can bring to the table, I know JB can bring to the table just as well, if not better. Rob Schneider brags about being half Filipino. JB can brag about being at least, I'd say, 3/4 black and 1/4 French, or maybe all black and French. I don't know how it works out with that combination, to be honest, of nationalities.
It works quite difficultly.
So you're saying there was rape involved?
Let's not
too early, JB. We're not drunk enough for those kind of jokes. Shame on you. Rob Schneider wouldn't have made that joke, but yeah, we're here. As Odie was saying, usually we do it with for years we did it with Johnny Rocket, and we had brought Raylene Lightheart, who's a great sweetheart over there. That girl, she knows about cornucopias because man, that girl's cornucopia has been full of babies. I think she has 18 children. Am I wrong? Over, under
2. I don't know. Somewhere
92 children. But she is an awesome chick for Liberty and very funny. So we're without her because they were a team and we decided to fly solo. We were supposed to have Mark with us today. Mark bailed because he is a thankless bitch. So when we get into our what you're thankful for, what you're least thankful for, store that in the old noggin, guys, if you would. And Rico was a maybe. I guess he's flying out to Florida tomorrow. So he said he had too much packing to do. Although I feel like if you're going anywhere near Cuba, you could probably get packed pretty good down there without having to bring anything extra. Anyway, that's what's up. I am still feeling shitty because Rico and Odie and I spent the weekend in Cleveland. So yes, guest number 1, John Odermatt, what are you drinking now? How do you feel currently?
Well, right now I'm drinking a Modelo. Then I got, of course, my go-to Sweetwater 420 that I'll be guzzling down for the remainder of the show after this final Modelo of the case. But how do I feel? Right now, I feel great. Driving, well, I don't want to give too much information. The governor of Pennsylvania could be listening. So teleporting
Don't give me your checkpoint.
On Sunday from where I was to where I live.
Odie literally avoided street cameras. This is very funny. He literally avoided taking the fastest route so that they could not be caught on government cameras at any of the turnpikes.
Okay, a couple of questions. So what Modelo are you drinking?
It's Especial.
Ooh, very good choice.
Yeah.
Really? See, I prefer Negro Modelo more than Especial.
Especially, I like that Caribbean light lager. It's very drinkable, you know. When you just want,
it's perfect just to drink.
Yeah,
like 6 of them.
I used to have that. See, I used to like that. Then, like anything, I got sick of it. Like PBR, I could drink, got sick of it. Case of Stones, used to like that, which is just Coors Light in a different can. Got rid of that. Terrible.
Those beers are far inferior to Modelo Especial, though. Those are very inferior beers that you're describing. Yeah.
My Siri started responding to you about the beers. Thank you, Siri. Shut the fuck up, Siri.
But to say, I guess to finish your question, Brian, how do I feel now? I feel good now. The drive home was rough, not easy, and the rest of the day was not easy. But by Tuesday? Yeah, so it's Tuesday now. I feel good.
Another question to interject. Did you really drive to where you went, wink, wink, solely for the purpose of this dunk?
No. I mean, I wanted to hang out with Rico.
Well, yeah, I guess there's that too. I forget some people might want to do that.
Some other people did drive just for the dunk. I thought, honestly, so we let Anthony come just to watch the dunk. For those of you out there who are not in the Pride, we have a bet that Brian McWilliams, the great Brian McWilliams, who is 6'3", unbelievably athletic as I am good looking. So that tells you how athletic I am. But we had a bet that I was going to dunk a basketball, and Rico happens to have a basketball net in his driveway. Now, there's a slight decline on the driveway. And when I mean slight, I'm not talking about you can sled down it. It was what, Odie? Maybe a 1.5-inch grade.
Yeah, just enough so when it rains, the
water will go down. Yeah. And did we not adjust the driveway height and adjust the rim height before I dunked? We measured it.
Yeah, well, the reason we did is because I came out and said that looks super high. That's
what I said too.
And it was too high.
Odie and I explained basically the two tallest people thought it was high, and it looked fucking crazy high.
It's actually 2 inches too low. So they raised it up.
Oh, really?
It was very daunting going in. I was out there, I mean, Grant, already drunk. It was freezing. And I'm like, usually in Santa Monica when I was practicing out here in LA, I was like, to jump up and I'm hitting like mid palm. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be simple. And then on Rico's, I'm going out there jumping up and I'm missing it completely. I'm hitting the tip of my finger. I was like, fuck, this is going to be bad. I'm going to miss terribly. So anyway, continue, Odie.
I'm telling the story of the dunk.
Well, the measuring part. Oh
yeah, the measuring part. So yeah, I mean, I think I've seen a lot of basketball hoops in my day. I've played a fair amount of basketball, not recently, but you can tell by looking at a hoop if it's if it's high, if it's low. Rico has some sort of like small backboard hoop that has like no backboard. It barely comes down under the rim at all. Yeah. And just threw off my depth perception, really, and probably threw off Brian's depth perception, too, the first couple times he tried to dunk.
It was an optical illusion I could not explain. It may have existed in a different dimension.
No,
it probably did.
I guess, can I pause for another question? This one's directed towards Brian.
Of course. Now, this is the scientific inquiry about my...
No, I understand you are 6'3", and I do know you as a person. I've known you for quite some time. You do play basketball, so it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility that you could dunk. Is this due to your age? Could you, say, at age 20, dunk far more easily than...
I would say definitely.
Yeah.
Well, how this came up, how this all fucking came up was that we were degenerate gamblers. We were arguing, and I told Rico that I could dunk, and both Odie and Rico said, no, you can't dunk. And I was telling Rico, I was like, you were there for me fucking dunking, idiot. In college, I could definitely dunk. I could two-hand dunk in college. He refused to believe me. Then, of course, the pride's watching the stream. They get involved.
I don't believe that.
I'm telling you, man.
Could you dunk in college, Odie?
I could never dunk a basketball. I could dunk
Odie
a volleyball.
can't jump over a line of ants that's going
So
for
you
a
can't
sugar
palm
pile.
a basketball. Is that the problem?
No, yeah, I can't palm a basketball.
Okay.
You know what he can palm? A tiny dick. Two-hand that tiny dick.
You know what they say.
You two palm a tiny dick? I don't know. What do they say about that?
I was just gonna leave that floating there.
Gonna leave that hanging?
Yeah.
So, long story short, we're drinking, we're watching Penn State play. Penn State's terrible. Terrible. And I'm only going to tell half of the stories of the evening because they get far more ridiculous later on. We're watching Penn State suck.
And we'll save the rest of the
hammered.
stories for degenerate gamblers, which
For
we're
degenerate
recording
gamblers.
tomorrow. So
Right. And you have to go to patreon.com/Lions of Liberty to hear the rest of this epic tale. But I will tell you about the dunk. So I go up there, right? It's halftime. I'm like fired up, like, woo, let's go. We got Anthony Meyer, one of our biggest Pride members out there. He's in Cleveland. He came out just to watch and witness. We measure the tape. Rico gets a goddamn ladder, measures it. We have a picture of it. We have to raise the thing 2 inches. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely fucked now. There's no goddamn way. Go out there, taking some practice runs. You know, I'm jumping a little bit. Clang, clang. I'm missing. I'm using a tiny Nerf ball. Clang, missing it. Missing the net completely. Clanging a bunch, right? Take off my heavy Penn State sweatshirt. And then I decide it's time to show these boys what's really fucking up. What's going on?
Oh yeah, this was like Dragon Ball Z, huh? You were wearing a weighted vest when you were training. Is that what it was?
Goddamn right. Goddamn right.
Dragon
So
Ball
I
Z.
take off my shirt. Let's say, give me the ball. And I swear to God, this happened. I turn to Rico. And I say, I'm roping and doping this shit. I say, give me 1,000-1 odds. You've been watching me miss this fucking net. And I was missing it by a lot, right? Odie, like, embarrassing.
And I asked, who was the dope you were roping? So that would be yourself, right?
It would have been myself. So I'm like, Rico, 1,000-1 odds. You bet. I'll bet $5. And you have to tell me, he's like, what is that? How much do I owe you then? I was like, I don't know. So drunk. I was like, I don't know. $3,000. Won't take it because he's a fucking pussy. Sure as shit, get the real basketball, which, yes, I acknowledge, was a women's side basketball. So it was like a half an inch smaller, but that's what we had. Run up to that net. Kaboom shakalaka! Throw it right fucking down. No problem. But there was a question. And by the way, the video of this is in the Pride. If you join the Pride, it's on our Facebook page. You can see the entire video. So there's some questions. Even though I'm yelling, fuck your mother at the top of my lungs to the entire neighborhood as two women are walking their dogs by, I don't care. They can both suck my dick because I just dunked that fucking basketball right on their shit. So what do we do, Odie? I said, give me that ball back. I said, give me it back. And then on the second dunk, I slammed it down with authority. No question. Bam, shakalaka.
And actually, upon review, I think both dunks were clean, but the first dunk, which it's weird. When I watched it at like regular speed, I thought the second dunk was cleaner than the first. When I watched it back again, the first dunk was cleaner than the second.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought the second dunk was cleaner than the first. I thought the second dunk was in my hand the whole time when I banged it down. The second dunk made it come out a little bit. Or the first one came out.
Anyway, it was, I think they were good dunks. Of course, people could dispute the women's basketball. Why does Rico have women's basketball?
Don't we all dispute women's basketball even existing? That's really what we should be talking about.
I've never seen a WNBA game.
We wouldn't have had this issue with the men's versus women's basketball if women's basketball just did not exist. Thanks,
I didn't even know women use a different size basketball.
Or was it a youth basketball? Was it Rico's son's basketball?
Yeah, I didn't even think that exists. Do women really use a different size basketball?
I guess. But it makes it even sadder. They can't dunk, and I can at 6'3" and 40 and fat, fucking 15 pounds overweight, club jubbing up in here. But yeah, that's a good segue into Thanksgiving talk, right, guys? JB, what are you drinking down there?
I've got some Kinsey Rye. It's a Philadelphia distillery, actually. Super local.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Is that any good?
Yeah, I like it. I've been drinking a lot of rye lately.
Do they make Ripple? Because ever since I got into Sanford and Sons like a long time ago, I wanted Ripple, and they don't make it anymore. Like you can't find it. It doesn't exist.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I only know it in reference to that show. Actually, I don't think I've ever had it.
Guys,
what is Ripple?
Lions of Liberty? We need
like
our own Ripple brand. We need a Ripple brand.
I've never seen it anywhere.
I feel like I need to know now.
So, dude, JB, with the local distillery, like how long have they been open for? What's like how long are they aging stuff for?
This is age 4 years. How long have they been open? I'm sure it's on the bottle somewhere, but I think they've been here as long as I've lived in the city. So, I don't know. Probably maybe 8 years old. I don't know.
So how long until us peasants are allowed to distill our own alcohol without having to do it out in the middle of the woods?
Are we not allowed? Are we still not allowed?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
99% sure we're still not allowed to do that. Although with all the bars fucking closing, maybe that's a silver lining we get out of COVID is that all the bars closed. So they're like, yeah, it's brewing at home, you guys. Have fun.
Really? So we're not allowed to distill. We can make wine and beer, though.
You can make beer,
liquor,
for sure.
It's
not
just
liquor.
recently because it's only recently with a couple. You just named the local distillery in Philly. There's a couple in Pittsburgh now. There was some law change to allow even that to happen.
But
it sounds like there's going to be a lot of row homes in Philly.
Like I could see how maybe they don't want you to have some kind of still in your basement. But if you're a company that builds a factory, why wouldn't you be allowed to make whiskey? I don't understand.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about individual liberty, man. We're talking about making a little grandpa's moonshine in the basement.
Like, what special dispensation did they have to make? Because they're on a wholesale, like they're on a manufacturing scale making whiskey. They're not homemakers, so.
Right, but yes, you should be allowed to have a still in your basement.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. But I didn't know there was restrictions to doing it even at the commercial level. That you said
it's like
that
anything though. There's a lot of things you can do. Even now, you could do a lot of things legally in your building, but if you fuck someone else up, like owning a shotgun. I just bought a shotgun. Haven't shot it yet. Got it like last week, literally. As I was going out of town, I was like, honey, we have a shotgun. Here's how it works. Clack, 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 clack. Here, enjoy. So, good thing she didn't have to use it.
Yeah, because considering that tutorial, yeah, it's pretty good.
It was literally like, and it's like what with the clips that goes in the bottom. I was like, here you go. Chick, 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 clack, clack. There you go. Bye. I got to go out of town. I was like, just use the pistol. I'll see you later. There's a baseball bat. But I mean, look, there's a lot of shit you can legally do now that would definitely, if it went wrong, like a still exploding in the basement of a building, you got to pay for it. You can't shoot guns up through the ceiling of places. But you're allowed to have guns. It's kind of like the same concept, right? Do it responsibly.
What do you mean? Why would you do that? Like Yosemite Sam or something? Like, I don't understand. Like, in every time shooting.
JB, fortunately, there's nobody above this. It's my den. But every time we get a new $25 Nut Mufasa patron, I go, and I dance around just like Sammy Sam shooting through my roof.
Well, I think what Brian's getting at is like sort of the argument against people having their own, if they're freaking making their own nuclear energy, if they're doing fission or fusion in their house and they have a miniature reactor to power their home.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation a few years ago, actually. It's like, where's the line in the case where the level of like expertise you need to keep this from being dangerous is too high and you can't reasonably have it unless you prove it to us by some type of certification or metrics. You can't just let you have this.
Or it would be with the NAP. It would have to be somewhere you could not hurt other people with it. Like, so you would not be allowed by the rules of the domicile you all shared. You would just have to not be allowed to do it in that domicile, right? You'd have to have it somewhere where the potential would have to be outside or the reasonable potential for danger. Because obviously, if you cook a turkey in an apartment building and you overcook the turkey, this being the Thanksgiving cornucopia / bukkake episode. I mean, reasonably, you're probably not going to burn it down. But if you're developing nuclear weapons of some sort or packing your own ammo or cooking meth, reasonably, you could say that you might have to go outside and you're breaking the rules of the complex that you have all jointly shared to go in on.
You say well, what if it's just like a neighborhood? They build neighborhoods today with houses right next to each other. So, I mean, you blow off the side of a house, you could easily
Well, even then, I think it's like the same thing that you would agree with. Okay, but in that same scenario, you're not building a shooting range, right? You have a foot between your house and your neighbor's house. You're not going to put in a shooting range where you can go outside your window and shoot through the 1 foot area at their window. Like, there's got to be some. Well, let's not pretend that the law does not govern everything. Like, reason has to play some part in everything. So, reasonably, I think most people that respect property rights would not have a still in their basement, knowing that if shit goes wrong, they're going to horribly injure somebody. And if it did, of course, they could be, to the fullest extent.
There is a possibility for that. Alcohol is flammable and explosive under the right conditions, and you are distilling.
Very much so. Very much so.
I think there is something to that, because you don't hear about, like, or at least I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's happened, but somebody cooking meth blowing up like an apartment complex or something. Normally, it's like they're out in the fucking middle of nowhere. And
usually it's an RV
a trailer blows up or something. Yeah.
And I think the process, from what I can tell, the process of cooking meth would be too conspicuous in an apartment building. Like, your neighbors would know and someone would rat you out or something. I think you couldn't hide it as easily.
In real shitty apartments, man. Maybe everybody's in there smoking meth.
I'm sure
Maybe you're the dealer. Maybe you're the dealer for all the people that live in there. Then they're like, boy, it smells like a lot of meth. And they're like, something's cooking. Dinner. And the guy comes out when he's done the meth and he rings a little bell.
You should go onto the floor of, like, organic chem labs. You can smell all those solvents in the hallway. It's like,
for all the ELL fans,
and that's what JB does over his lunch hour to get high. Follow his podcast, Lunch Hour with JB, where he tells you exactly where to go to get high. Sorry, I'm confusing. That's Bravo and Beer Talk. That's Bravo and Beer with the new podcast.
For all the ELL fans out there who are veterans of cooking meth, I'm sure there's plenty, thousands. Please join the Lions of Liberty Forum and tell us how you cook your meth, because we'd love to know.
Better yet, join the Lions of Liberty Pride to tell us that, because
it's even better.
We are definitely still under the watchful eye of Sauron. Although I hope that a lot of people out there that were zucked from part of the problem, Secret Circle. Who else got zucked recently?
I heard that they're going to allow those pages or groups or whatever to come back, but
it was just election shit. Yeah, I don't know. We were getting a ton of those warnings for a while where I had to approve shit. And although they marked something false that got posted recently, which pissed me the fuck off so badly. And I can't remember what it was.
There were 2 things I posted about the election that got marked false.
Well, this was about Governor Newsom. It was something about, like, it marked it untrue because Newsom posted something about new rules or something, and it was, I don't know. It's just their arbitration is so blatantly and clearly biased just to go along with the most leftist possible narrative. It's a fucking joke. Like, you can see why there's going to be Parler should just start up something that's exactly like Facebook, but for Parler. They must have a bunch of money coming in now. Just do it.
Well, Parler's not really a competitor with Facebook. It's more a competitor with Twitter. I think MeWe.
Thank you. I know, but
MeWe is more.
I'm not on MeWe yet.
It's not.
I am on Maroads. I'm not going to tell you the last part that our buddy Dan started up, which we have to look into, Odie.
Yeah, I need to do some research in that. I looked into it quickly. I need to spend some time.
I know. So a guy that's one of our listeners is Pride members. I'm not going to say his full name because this is secret right now. I'm not going to say the full name of the website, but looking into, more freedom-based kind of social networking platforms. So I'm very interested.
Social registering. Yes, we're going to register.
We're going to register you socially. The last thing libertarians need is something to register them socially. We're going to grade you like the Chinese, based upon how your memeing is, how your facial hair is. Pete Quignonia's dead last, both.
So it begins.
You got punch up. Okay.
Punch up, punch out, punch over, just punch.
Actually, is it punching up? I guess the Pete's kind of punching straight across, except I'm taller than him.
Right in the face.
Yeah. Right. Just knock those fucking glasses right off his face. All right. Well, let's get into.
That's mean. Very mean.
What?
I shouldn't.
Yeah, what's with
I don't
all
wanna
the
punch Pete in
animosity and
face.
the
I feel like
punching?
that really got very aggressive very quickly. I have nothing
Yeah.
wrong with Pete.
Punching his glasses off as someone who wears glasses. That's there's no greater insult.
Can we call him the Quinn one? Like Quinn Yonez, just a Quinn one. Like it's like Kwai Jong, whatever, that guy from Star Wars. Kwai Jong.
Well, you know me,
Qui-Gon.
Brian.
I know you haven't fucking seen it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Kwai Jong, thank you. There
Yeah,
you go,
Qui-Gon.
JB. I need somebody else that gets pop culture references in this. For Odie, it's always got to be anything. It's Casablanca or what was the other one you saw? Solar Babies from 1982.
Solar Babies.
I have
Why
not
don't you
seen
watch
Solar
movies? That's
I watch a lot of movies.
not that.
I just don't watch like all.
JB, have you seen Solar Babies?
No, I think we've talked.
dude.
I think you've asked me to see it. I said no.
I don't,
Well, I
watch
don't
all
know
the
why
sci-fi
people won't
stuff,
watch
like-
movies about rollerblading children in the future who need to fight against Mad Max monsters to get. I can't remember exactly the plot, but something about solar energy. Did I sell it? Anyway, listen to my other podcast, Solar Babin', where I try to remember the name of this podcast, but I drive by yelling it at hot chicks on the street. Hey, Solar Baby. And they go, what? And I go, never mind, idiot. And then I do it at the next stoplight. All right, moving on. Let's get into some shiznit idiots. So we got our topics. Do you want to space them out? I want to know who your biggest, who are you thankful for, number one? Or what are you thankful for? Maybe we should save that for the end because that's sappy. I want to know who you're not thankful for. And I want to know your biggest turkey of 2020.
See, that's tough to distinguish between who you're not thankful for and the biggest turkey. Like, is the biggest
Well, the not
turkey...
thankful for could be a few things. It doesn't have to be just one. It could be like it could be a cornucopia, as they say.
Well, how do you define turkey? Is a turkey just like a buffoon, or is a turkey like a
Jive turkey.
Yeah, jive turkey.
Jive ass.
So he doesn't have to be
Yeah,
black.
jive ass
Remember,
turkey.
because jive turkey is any color.
Yeah,
Just a
anyone can be a
jive
jive turkey.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
There you go. It didn't take long. All right. Well, Odie, then you kick it off. And we don't have to do them all. Let's start off with who are you not thankful for? Or
I
what?
mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, this is the most obvious thing ever, but I'm not thankful for COVID. I'm not thankful for all this lockdown bullshit that's been happening. And, I'll save my jive turkey to go farther into some of these things. But, just 2020, this year's been crap. Not that there's been great things that have happened, but most of the
I like you keep your accusations of turkeyhood broad like your asshole. Good.
But
Nice and wide.
that's not
Can
sure.
fit a lot in there. Like a good turkey.
White asshole. That's
Can fit a lot of stuff in there. Wide out. Deep assholes. That's really what we go for on this show. That's an old joke. For those of you out there.
But when it comes to if we're just gonna, I'll just go right into who my jive turkey is. It's hard to say picking between two governors. I'm sure you guys have JB and I would probably share a governor, so maybe I'll save one for him. But I think the jivest turkeys of the governors is Andrew Cuomo. And he's sort of the one that set off this whole lockdown nonsense throughout the country. He's not my governor. He's the governor of New York, obviously, in Pennsylvania. But our governor has gone in lockstep with him from the very start. That son of a bitch got the pandemic wrong by putting COVID positive senior citizens into nursing homes, which resulted in I don't know how many thousands of deaths, and then wrote a fucking book about how he got COVID right, how he's a hero. And
to make it Thanksgiving related, it would be like Martha Stewart shoving a bunch of turkeys into an oven that was way too hot, burning the shit out of all the turkeys, and then issuing a book about Martha Stewart bakes turkeys. during the Holocaust, to extend the metaphor a little bit. Ridiculous.
Exactly. Perfect.
COVID old people at Holocaust.
And I mean, the thing is, it never stops. And then, the vaccine comes out, which is a whole different topic we could get into. The vaccine, good, bad, what is it? I'd love to hear JB's thoughts on it. But and Cuomo immediately is saying that he doesn't want New York to have the vaccine if Trump's giving it out because Trump will mess it up and it'll get all screwed up and it has to be rolled back. What the fuck are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? It's all going to be the same people. Nothing's going to change handing out the vaccine. It's just freaking asinine. And he gets away with it. That's the craziest part. There's nobody in the media. I mean, a little bit on the right, people hold him accountable. But the left, I mean, no one even questions it. Anything he says.
People the whole goddamn vaccine thing. I also thought it was ridiculous where I think it was Whitmer and some other people would say they wouldn't take the vaccine. Like, I think Kamala Harris said it too. I'm not taking a vaccine that Trump gives me. It's like those old movies where it's like the hero and the villain, and the whole movie they're battling it out, right? And the villain's got the evil serum, and then the hero's got the anti-serum, and at the end of the movie, the villain is hanging off the cliff. Maybe he grabbed onto a helicopter. I don't know. You know these things, whatever they do. Grabs onto a helicopter. The hero's like, "God, let me save you. Take my hand. I have the antidote." And Cuomo would be the guy, like, falling off the helicopter. His hands are slippery, soaking with sweat. Slowly slips. And he goes, "Please, I can save you. Get in the chopper." And Cuomo just slowly gives him the finger and falls. Could have had the vaccine. Too proud.
Yep,
that's quite the reenactment there. Well, I guess
I expected a slow clap or applause, but I guess I booked. Guys, welcome to the Thanksgiving show where Brian has booked on the wrong two guests. Two true low-energy imbeciles to join him on this Thanksgiving. Well, you know what, though? The thing is, I thought I was going to be low energy, and I was all day. I was so I was hungover yesterday. Had to fly, by the way, which fucking sucked. So Odie went home. Odie drove his ass home. He stayed up, played beer pong with us, right, on Saturday. Came, got there in time for the Penn State game. Rico and I have been up since 10 a.m. drinking and playing beer pong. So Odie rolls in. We start to watch Penn State. They, of course, suck. So now we're really into drinking because they're so goddamn terrible. Then Anthony shows up because we're like, "Oh, yeah, coming over. We're going to do the half at halftime coming up." So he comes in. We're drinking. Actually, he doesn't drink. Hanging out with the three of us, not drinking, Spangle style. Embarrassing. But still had a wonderful time because we're crazy people. Do the dunk. So drunk, so excited, so happy. Go back inside, continue to drink. We go out to a brewery. Two breweries.
Remember, we got to save some of these stories, though. I mean,
oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I'm telling you too much. Well, sorry, guys. Can't finish that story. You got to listen to patreon.com/Lions of Liberty on the Degenerate Gambler Show. Point being, I am very hungover. And, so was Rico. And there's funny stories to tell about it. All right, so moving on. JB, give me well, we'll save who you're thankful for. Who's your least thankful person or happenings of 2020?
Least thankful person or happenings?
Can't be me. Blanking on it now.
What am I least thankful for this year? I count the ways. I don't know.
Hard. We should have done it. The 12 least thankfuls of Christmas.
Yeah, it's what happened? Sean Connery died. It's so hard. You say that's the thing I'm least.
But but how about this? How's a silver lining? How funny would it have been if Sean Connery died? Like, they wanted Idris Elba to take over for James Bond, which I also really want. So that'd be awesome.
I would have been fine with that. Yeah, I think he would have done a good job with that.
What if you're sad about Sean Connery dying, but he was like, Idris Elba, fuck that black motherfucker. And you're like, good, fuck off, Sean Connery. Thank God you're dead.
Are you gonna uncover some? Are you gonna uncover some audio of him saying that?
Hidden,
Well, let
hidden
me pull up my
audio.
phone
Sean
right
Connery,
now.
Raging racist.
Idris Elba. Can't believe that they let him take a gun in his hand, let alone a spear. What a stupid trick. Do you think that I let him fuck my wife? And then, after he fucks my wife, he'll never fuck me again. Fuck that black bastard. He'll never be 007.
And Brian's canceled. That was a good run.
That was
good run.
That was the recording.
It's high
I'm not
quality too.
canceled. Those are all
Good.
complimentary things, by the way, to Idris Elba. Did I say anything negative Idris Elba in there?
Doesn't matter.
God, rest in peace, Sean Connery, you racist dick. I don't think he was racist.
Yeah, I've been, ever since the election, I've just been floating. Completely detached. If I try to tether myself to 2020, I'm just going to be driven mad. I've decided.
You got that giant black dick Sean Connery's talking about. Come on, man, tether and float.
I'm just gonna ride the crest into 2021.
You got to give more than that, JB. No bitching out.
What can I say? Like, everything is terrible. Like,
everything is terrible. I know.
My football teams are combined 0-15. How about Adam Gase? How about that for my turkey of 2020? I watched this guy.
Fired? How is he not fired?
Because it's too late. Because we want to lose every game.
Yeah,
that's why he's not fired.
We
hired this guy from the Dolphins, a divisional opponent, someone I watch 2 times a year. Watch Adam Gase be terrible for 3 years, and then right after he coaches fucking the Dolphins into the ground, we hire him. And I'm
then
like,
he's great.
Huh?
The Dolphins are
did
wonderful.
Did we not just watch this guy be terrible with the Dolphins? Now he's our coach.
He's got those crazy fucking eyes too.
0-15. My football teams are, Odermatt. 0-15. How about that? That's quite the record.
Well, don't forget we share a couple of this. We share at least half of that misery with you. Don't forget that.
So, yeah. Adam Gase.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's early.
I've never liked Franklin. I'm going to add that too. He's had some good seasons, but I've never warmed to him. There's something I don't know. Yeah. There's something about him.
Well, the thing is, they call James Franklin, coach of Penn State football. They call him the Poon Hound. So I mean, that in its own right is lovable. And I wondered during COVID.
I guess I'm gonna have to reassess my opinion of him given this new piece of information, because this is news to me. Who calls him the Poon Hound?
Everyone.
Apparently that was his name.
You call him the Poon Hound?
In the industry, his nickname is Poon Hound, and despite he's got a wife and loving children, apparently. But I theorize that James Franklin, Penn State head coach, now sucks shit because during the COVID lockdown, he no longer has any access to Poon. And it's like George Costanza. Remember when Costanza on Seinfeld stopped having sex and he became a super genius?
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, Odie doesn't.
No, of course I know that show. Yeah, of course. I know every.
Well, you were just sitting there with a stupid look on your face.
Well, I was thinking I had something to say when you were done.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, that's right there he's the anti-Costanza. Like some people, he needs to get laid all the time. He's like he's like the chick on the show. He has to get laid all the time. That's why they call him the Poon Hound. Keeps his blood flowing. He's got to get that baby batter. All the bad ideas store in his testicles, and he's got to get it out. So now he can't get any Poon because nobody's going out. There's nobody going in and out of Penn State. They're not traveling. There's no bars open.
His wife's in Florida.
His wife's in Florida with his kids. They never want to come back. So now his brain is getting contaminated with all that bad jizz.
Bad batter.
All right.
I don't know why I did this
Breaking
myself,
Bad batter.
but I watched a good 30 seconds of his press conference today, and I've never seen a more defeated man in my life.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, did he look a broken man?
Yes, 100%. I thought he was going to, because he's such a salesman, I thought it would be like he'll still find a way to be upbeat, and it was like the saddest thing I've ever seen. Wow. There's no way we're going to win a game. We were saying,
did they play that? Because it's the holiday time.
Cooked.
Did they play the?
So the bird is cooked, huh? Turkey's rest.
Turkey's
cooked for Thanksgiving. Awesome.
He's done.
Dude, do they play the sad Thanksgiving music where they skate around in a circle, like that? Doom 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 doom. That bad sad Peanuts music.
You should pull a clip and do it.
Maybe I will. Guys, I only have like 15 seconds of the sad music to tell you about Good Morning Liberty. If you like being depressed, listen to Good Morning Liberty. No, I'm kidding. They're a great show. Friends of ours, supporters of our podcast. Go listen to them every day of the week. Fantastic takes about healthcare, libertarianism, how to bridge the gap, all that good stuff. Where am I at? Okay, I got 3 more seconds. Good Morning Liberty, anywhere podcasts are heard. Thanks, Peanuts. Maybe I will. Better. I can screen share it right now, but I bet you have it disabled, don't you?
I don't even know how to enable it.
Because sure Odie never thinks about our terrible football team.
Well,
all right, let me see if I can if I can bring it up. I'll try and see. Hold on.
See, because if you're not, it's not like we can't. It's
there
on
it
Zoom,
is.
so I can't switch to you.
No. The thing is, I have to share my screen. Let's see if it allows me to. All right. Yeah. Don't show these tips again. Share that screen. Let's do it. I'm going to share it. Share. Now, the question is, Chrome has lost permission to share these. I have to follow several steps to do that, but I'm not going to do any. Look, guys, if I followed any steps, I wouldn't be an alcoholic anymore. Fuck you, thing. I'm not going to follow your goddamn steps. Ridiculous. Anyway, it goes do. You know the ones.
I mean, it's 2020. When are we going to get past steps? Like, you have to set something up on your computer. You got a list of 10 steps you got to follow. Can't we just, I don't know. Can't it just happen? You click a button.
Do things instantly. You don't want that because then you'll basically, that's when we're cyborgs and we're completely integrated with technology and it's just done with just a flick of a synapse. Yeah, is that what you want?
It's like that South Park. Remember that South Park episode had a funny thing about accepting the terms without agreeing and reading to them, where Kyle's ass gets stapled to another guy's ass, like some Japanese dude's crapping in Kyle's mouth. Yeah, human sentai pad, exactly. Yeah. And he's like, do you want to eat vanilla pudding or cuttlefish? And he's like, I guess cuttlefish every time. And then his diary is cuttlefish in Kyle's mouth. Truly disgusting.
Oh, cuttlefish. Disgusting.
But I mean, even with that episode, I still don't read any of this shit. But I'm also like of the mind, like, look, there's all these bills trying to pass to limit what you can share privacy wise and what you can't, and like making sure they can't take your information. But I'm like, look, I know they're going to take my information, and I know that half of them I can turn it off afterwards. But I also like getting all these insanely sophisticated products and services for free. And I know that that's how they make the money.
And can we also just say, like,
Period.
They say, they have like different blockers you can install, like Firefox. I don't use Firefox, but I actually read this today. Apparently, because with Facebook tracks everything you do. If you have Facebook download on your computer, on your phone, every fucking thing you do, every website you go to, Facebook is tracking that shit. And Firefox apparently has some plugin that you can download that blocks some of that, which I don't know if that really happens or not, but they say that. So you get rid of Facebook, something else is going to track you. I mean, if you have a cell phone, everything you're doing is getting tracked. Siri is listening to you. Alexa's listening to you.
Clearly, Siri's listening to me. She's interrupted this podcast. Hey, Siri. You fucking cunt. You know, it only pops up when I want her, never when I don't, which is always.
Well, it's like what John McAfee said way back, I think, like one of the first times Mark interviewed him. Like the only way to have privacy is just you don't do anything. You don't have a cell phone, you don't have a computer, and just go live, off the grid somewhere. That's it. That's all you can do.
Yep.
If you want full privacy.
No, I mean, it's literally true. People take it they take for granted all the crap we have. Like Christmas is around the corner. We'll be doing our Naughty or Nice show coming up. There's a mini version of it with Thanksgiving turkey stuff. But look, you're going to give your kids, if you have kids, you're going to give them a shitload of stuff. I guarantee it tracks and reports and all the smart stuff in it is evil at its core. I mean, back in the days, we had G.I. Joes. They were fun. We had imaginations. I think people have imaginations.
They were
anymore.
fun, but they were propaganda. That was state propaganda for us to love the military and go overseas and kill brown people.
Was.
That's what the G. Joes
Totally
were.
was. The only show that was not
just the brainwash us into doing things like that.
Were the
only show that was
Mutant
not
Ninja Turtles propaganda also?
Yeah, they are. It's trying to teach people that it's okay to live in the sewers because LA's got 60,000 homeless fuckers roaming around on the streets. Get those fucking chuds down below the surface, man.
Giant
Get
rats.
those Morlocks underground. But I will say, the only I lost my train of thought. It's gone. Something about toys and being conditioned, and now it's gone. You guys ruined it.
No imagination, toys, conditioned. You're going to buy stuff for your kids, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's gone.
CIA's listening. Oh, okay.
CIA is listening to everything. We all know that.
You never said what you're not thankful for, though, so maybe you could do that.
Me or JB?
JB did, I think. He said the Jets, Adam Gase.
Oh, that's true.
You never said anything.
He didn't say his biggest turkey of the year. We're waiting on that. So what I'm not thankful for sure, like you already said it, COVID hysteria. I'm not thankful for people buying into mass hysteria. I'm not into people accepting big government, which is what we've seen in mass in 2020 of just taking for granted that the government knows what's right and we have to go along with it and ratting out their neighbors. Not thankful for any of that shit. Not thankful that also the government's made me into a bit of a hypocrite and that I have even taken some of that government money because the way I look at it, if someone's stealing from me, which they effectively are by shutting down my avenues to make revenue, I might as well try to get it back, even knowing that it's all just being printed. So I am not thankful for that. That has made me feel bad about myself. And I will say, though, I'm also not thankful for the Libertarian Party embracing wokeism during this last presidential cycle. Not happy about it. Not thankful for it. Tried to advise them against it, but yet we still saw them embrace the worst crap, idiotic bullshit of leftist wokeism. And of course, it resulted in them getting absolutely trounced, as we could predict.
Yeah. And I mean, just to stay with Libertarian Party for a minute.
Yeah, I was just going to do the same. I was going to. Go
ahead, JB.
I didn't want to steer thunder, but I was like, you're just giving me my biggest turkey of 2020 is the Libertarian Party.
There you go.
And maybe not for the same reasons and like embracing wokeness, as you said it, is accurate, but I think it was the last grasp of like something that ultimately isn't a feasible thing. Like the one thing that was the most enlightening was some of the podcasts on this show, on the Lions of Liberty and some other libertarian shows, the defeatist conversations that were occurring. Particularly, I forget who you were talking to, Odie, but it was this realistic feeling that you're like being a libertarian is kind of like being like Sisyphus. Do you know that Greek myth of the guy who's in the underworld who has to try to roll this rock up this hill? Yeah, and he never can.
This might have been me. This might have been me with saying that I'm sick of losing.
You had like this really depressing monologue about like how nothing's ever going to change, even if there's a grassroots like swell for a libertarian candidate. The powers that be will just switch a couple of levers, and there goes those votes, and that's not going to happen. No one's going to ever let this happen through these means, and we're pretty much fucked. And I don't think the Libertarian Party is helping in any way to lift that feeling that this is all futile.
Yeah.
If there's a way, I don't know, but I don't think. I think the last couple of weeks have really brought that home to me, at least, and I think a lot of people that I listen to. I think you too as well. So, Just thought I'd put that out there.
I think there is a way. I think there is a way, but the problem is, like I said, the Libertarian Party has not accepted it, and they don't listen to. I mean, there's people out there talking the truth, man. Me, again, I've worked my whole career in fucking communications. You'd think they'd want to talk to me more. And again, at the beginning of the campaign, I was invited to be on several of these calls, and very quickly I was not invited anymore because they had their bullshit thing that they were doing and just kept on doing it. But Smith, Malice, me, Woods, I mean, there's coherent, logical, practical ways that you can win people over and make good outreach and convince them without going down woke road and ostracizing the people that already like you or that would like you in efforts to get people that will never like you.
You know what, though? I don't think there is a way in the current culture for a third party outside of a celebrity coming in, like a Mark Cuban.
Are you wearing a do-rag?
I'm not advocating for that. Which I think actually might happen, though. Somebody like that will come in and take the Libertarian nomination and steal the party.
Odermatt is wearing a do-rag, by the way.
Odie, are you wearing a do-rag? What the hell's on your head?
I wish I was. It's a hat backwards.
God, it literally from this angle looks like a fucking skin-tight, shiny do-rag.
That's a hat. I lost my train of thought now. Thanks for that, Brian.
Your do-rag's too tight.
Anyway, I think maybe JB, I think I did talk about that, the Libertarian Party, just my reflection on politics in general. I think it was on the Invictus Mind podcast. I don't know if you heard that, but I really am. One of the reasons I'm thinking of changing my show from Felony Friday to something else is, yes, we've seen some criminal justice reform, but within the current confines of the political climate, within the confines of duopoly, I was really hopeful a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that we would be getting close to a point now where we would have at least decriminalized marijuana nationally. I think we're going backwards now, although some states have.
But we're not going backwards, though. It's just happening slower than you'd like. There is some progress on that front. 5 other states? I think, how many different states pass either medical or full-blown legal in this last election? And the next election, there'll be more. Who knows?
Sure
PA will be on, and then there'll be some other states. Slowly but sure, the dominoes are falling. It's just not happening. Sure, right. Yeah. Dominoes are falling.
There's been a lot. There's been a lot of progress this election. Like I was saying, that was one of the few things I could take away that were kind of good from this election. But at the same time, the problem was, how crazy is that? Again, all these fucking lefties despise Donald Trump. Donald Trump has let the most marijuana / drug war, resurgence of the drug, or not resurgence, retreat of the drug war, and has let the most amount of reform go forward for drug reform, as far as sentencing, as far as not having the federal government crack down. Obama was cracking down on fucking dispensaries like a motherfucker. Trump's like, no. He got rid of Jeff Sessions. He was like, Jeff, fuck off. We're not doing that. It's crazy. So a lot of progress has been, but the question is, what's going to happen under Biden-Harris?
I don't think they can turn that tide. I seriously don't think they can.
I don't think they can either, but they can enforce it for a while.
I don't think it's in their interest,
which actually helps us.
I don't think it's there. I think at least with decrim and legal weed, I don't think it's in their interest to. I don't think they're going to. I think they see the writing on the wall, so to speak, in terms of what's going to happen. Maybe they won't just lift the lid on it, but I don't think they're going to stand in any state's way, for example, who wants to follow suit with, I think a third of the states at this point now. So I think the status quo will remain. I think they, at worst, they'll keep the status quo.
What I'm hoping for is that they crack down on the status quo, because what I was saying is that from a libertarian perspective,
to what end? Though?
Here's my perspective. I actually hope they nail down on it. I hope that Biden goes the other way. Again, goes co-authored the fucking 94 bill. Harris continues to be a piece of fucking shit, which she is, cop, because it'll wake more people up. Like I predicted 30% of Black America would vote for Donald Trump. Now, actually,
30%.
Yep.
Wow.
Do you know what it actually was?
That's a bold claim. 30%.
Do you know? I know. Well, our buddy Maurice, who's in the Pride, bet me. He said he'd double his Pride membership if I was right, and I think I might be pretty close to being right.
There's
the
no
latest
way you're
stats,
even close.
No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah, I am.
To being right.
Yeah, there's no way.
Did you read the latest? Black Americans doubled their vote this year for Donald Trump.
Even if they doubled it, I think that would be maybe 16. I think historically, Black people vote around 8% Republican in national elections. So at best, it's in the teens.
No, you're not wrong. It was something like they doubled from 9 to 18% for Black men.
And
okay, yeah.
Women,
okay.
For Black men.
For Black men.
Yeah,
so you have to break it down. Yeah.
Women, Women voted something higher than you'd think. It was still like something between 7 and I think they increased like 9%.
7
so they
to
had
9%.
They had voted from like 4%, 5%. They doubled it. So you take those together, gentlemen, men and women, and we're not counting all the transsexuals out there who they tell us are getting massacred in mass. You got fucking nearly 30%, do you not?
It's not how
no, that's not how that works. That's not how math works, McWilliams. That's not no. You don't have 30%. That's no.
If you have
something less.
No, it would be something in between those two numbers. It's like an average, actually.
Whichever is more higher weighted, whichever is a larger population.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on like the group. And let's say it's roughly 50-50. It would probably push it towards a number in the middle.
So what's your guess then?
For total, for probably somewhere in, like I said, probably somewhere in the low teens.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 10 to 12% overall. Which is it? I mean, that's
you're both idiots and you're both wrong. I'm going to type it. Talk about yourself.
Party, that would be progress.
Which is an increase. I don't think it's a very impressive one. I wouldn't be, bragging about it. But
dude,
it is an increase.
Anytime you literally double your support is a pretty fucking impressive increase. Especially among one of the hardest to reach.
Is it always
the thing is, here's the point.
I'll let you run with this.
Doubling the support of just Black males using that number, but you're comparing it against the overall Black population because he's just won over
less. He's just won over 9% more of the Black male population than existed 4 years ago. That's not that impressive.
Is there 4-year-olds are voting?
What?
4-year-olds are out there voting. These new 4-year-olds are giving vote for cards.
Look, with the Democrats, who knows? Probably 4-year-olds are voting.
You guys are now. We're all getting drunk and being morons, and you're frustrating me. I'm going to look this percentage up right now. You could tell me if you think you're arguing somehow it's a bad thing that Trump got more. He literally doubled his vote within the Black community in America.
I saw that statistic, and that was specifically.
Black men arguing with me this whole time.
Well, the thing is,
but I didn't say that's wrong. First of all, I didn't say that wasn't wrong.
They don't know exactly what it is.
Goddamn dick, Dr. Science, dick of all dicks.
They don't know exactly what it was, or they never will, because it's all based on exit polling. You don't know how people voted. You can't go look at demographically how people voted. It's all based on exit polling.
Yes, you can.
No,
exactly.
No, they don't take that. No, they don't record votes from actual votes. No, they don't do that. Yeah.
When they look back and calculate votes and they find addresses,
but they don't have demographic information.
They don't know how anyone voted. No, they don't. They don't pull any of that.
Well, all right. Well, great. Now, thanks a lot, guys. You've convinced me that the census is important now as a libertarian. Well done. Let's get some census people out there so I can find out about my Black vote.
Demographic information on it. Someone would have to do a lot of legwork to correlate that ballot to who you are as a person.
Idiots do that. You see him everywhere. JB's rubbing his face like he's fucking on crack. What's wrong with you?
My beard itches.
Mine too. I'm growing it out. Okay, whatever. Moving on. Point being, the point I was trying to make, though, is that Trump got a lot more support from, more than ever from Black, more than ever from Latino, than any Republican. And no matter what,
that's not. You say that, but that might not necessarily
not true. It is true.
No, I'm not going to say that's true. But is that necessarily a good thing?
Yes, I'll tell you why. Because I keep hitting my mic. Sorry, guys. The reason why it's a good thing to me is that the way I look at it, all these people coming in are not necessarily going to be dyed in the wool, super hardcore, red fucking pilled Republican. Well, we use red pills to get away, but they're not going to be like sold Republicans. I vote Republican, right? We have a unique opportunity, probably now more than almost any time in history, to talk to these people that voted Trump that are seeing, look, we've been fucked. The government's fucked us. The Democrats have promised us this, but it's really the government's been fucking us this whole time. As libertarians go, look, you guys clearly don't go all the way that way. You've been voting that block forever, but you don't go that way. We're talking to you. We want to get to you. We're talking about economic opportunity. We're talking about not sending kids out to fucking war all the time. We're talking about not over-policing your goddamn communities. We're talking about legalizing the drugs that have been ripping your communities apart, which is not, the drugs are not the problem. It's the policing. It's the fucking welfare state. If we can talk to these people, we can get them on board with libertarianism.
But that's not
far more than them just going fucking straight right.
You might be true, but first of all, they're voting for Trump. They're not voting for Republicans, and they're sure as hell not voting for libertarians. The reason
that's because they don't know any, man.
But I'm saying, when they cast that ballot for Trump, they weren't voting for those things. So saying that this is an opportunity, I think while that might be true, it's a tenuous one. And second of all, the reason why I asked specifically if that's such a good thing is because Trump is such a populist president who doesn't really have a freedom-based message. He says a lot of things. Some of them might be good, but most of them aren't true. And a lot of them are clouded in things that are not really liberty-based.
Yes and no, man.
Think about some of the things he's talking about, the troop movements in NATO. It's not so much that foreign interventionism is bad. Most of his rhetoric, if you pay attention, is the fact that he thinks we're being shortchanged on the amount of money we get.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Trump's for being the policeman of the world.
No. JB, you're missing it. I'm not saying that we need to go in and say Trump's the savior, and that's why we have to fucking prop this man up. Not in any way. My point is these people are disillusioned on a lot of different fronts. And we can go in and be like, here's our way of thinking. Here's what's never been tried before. Here's how we can help. Here's how we're focused on entrepreneurship, small business, individual liberty, individual property, not getting fucking fucked by the police. These things all should speak to people, especially people that are fucking downtrodden, trying to get themselves out of the shit. Because I've said this for like candid, now it's a public show, but we John and Mark and I had a candid conversation because I have an idea to actually start a nonprofit that I want to do if I get the time to lay it out. But let's call it the Lions of Liberty Foundation. But the goal of this would be to go into communities that typically do not learn or accept or know about libertarian values. We're talking Black, we're talking probably Asian, we're talking Latino. Go in,
Russian,
offer free classes. What's that?
Definitely Russian.
Maybe.
Russians have a very authoritarian culture.
Little Poland. We're going to be in little Poland. But going in there, man, and just like fucking laying shit out and be like, here you go. We're going to have free classes. I want to talk to Ron Paul about the Ron Paul curriculum. So we're going to give you free education, free classes, free this. And the end goal would be to have a system in place where we teach people how running a business in a free market, and honestly, to try to give them grants to start businesses. That's the goal of the foundation. Now, this is the first time I'm talking about this live because I got to put it all down on paper. And I've worked with nonprofits for 15 years now, so I know they work. But I think this is the way. Libertarians on social media fucking kissing ass and woke bullshit's not going to do it. We need to get in there. I've said this forever. We need to have libertarians succeeding, showing people how it's done. That's why Larry Sharp is good at what he does. That's why, we have to have people that are like in the community, like, I'm a libertarian. I use this. Here's how I got here. This is the fucking way. Like the Mandalorian. This is the fucking way, except you don't have to wear a goddamn helmet on your head. And the Lions of Liberty Foundation is going to help you get there.
Yeah, and
So that's what we're working on over the holidays. I'm typing it up.
I agree with Brian on two fronts here. And I don't think, I don't know if I entirely agree, but I do think it's like, just talking about Trump and the movement demographically, more voters. And I do agree that overall, more blacks did vote for Trump as a Republican than in the past. And the same thing.
Twice as many.
Yeah. And the same thing when you look at, Cubans in Florida, he took a lot larger percentage than Republicans in the past, which, I mean, not that there's like a lot to read into it, but I think the biggest takeaway is when people are no longer just when they lose that tether, when they're not tethered to the Democrat Party, which they've just really without thinking, just been voting that way seemingly for their entire lives. As soon as you vote for another party, even though it's Trump, even though, I mean, and I'm not saying Trump is, somehow better or, more liberty oriented than general Republicans. In some ways, I think he is, but I don't want to get into that now. But just losing that tether and voting a different way is an opportunity in that now they're looking. So their eyes are open a little bit. And the second point, though, is I do think that politically, I don't think the Libertarian Party in any of our lifetime is going to be relevant on a federal level politically. We might get a couple of congressional seats. Maybe we'll get some state senators and some people in state houses, things like that. I don't think we're going to be getting senators or presidents unless we do have someone come in and hijack the party, which I think we'll have to defend against. But I do agree with Brian that the way forward and the way to spread the ideas is through, helping other people and lifting them up and, showing them that really free market principles and creating your own vehicle for wealth is the way forward, not relying on the government, not relying on handouts and, entrepreneurship instead of that way.
I both of the things that you said, I agree with wholeheartedly, but I just don't understand how a vote for Trump represents those things, because Trump doesn't represent those things. He doesn't espouse those things at all. He's a populist. He just says things that people want to hear. He's a charismatic leader. He doubled that percentage in the black population based on clouds and mirrors, not of anything of substantial value. So you're expecting, yes and no, one thing I will say that I definitely think is important, and regardless of the way that Trump's done it, I agree with Odie that getting that idea of your head that you don't have to automatically vote Democrat is paramount. The thing I tell all people when I tell people that I don't automatically vote D, being a black person, a black man, is that the minute that a political party can pretty much assuredly guarantee your vote is this the moment you stop becoming relevant. What's the point of, like, you no longer can hold them accountable. Now they can take your vote for granted. When you vote for them from anywhere from a 7 to 9 to 1 ratio, depending on the area that you're in, they're pretty much no longer beholden to you. They can pretty much do whatever they want and guarantee on your vote. The fact that it's so skewed, I think, is troubling and has done the black community no favors in the last 40 years. That I say wholeheartedly. But yeah, I still have to stress that I don't think those upticks that Trump got were, I would say, like, can't find a better term than were not good, because that doesn't really make sense. I don't think that's a natural lead into the things that you're talking about that are laudable, because that's not what got them there to begin with. So it's not a natural progression. It's not like Ron Paul.
It is.
Like,
I think it is.
People like to talk a lot about Ron Paul libertarians, but because there's a reason for that, because he was espousing those messages while he was making his name on the national stage. Trump doesn't fucking do that. He's not bringing anybody towards these ideas whatsoever.
No, baby. Here's the thing. It's the difference between bringing ideals. Here's the thing. And I don't want people to think that I'm thinking Trump is some fucking massive messenger for liberty. He's not. My point is, and I said this before in past, actually, I might have tweeted it. Off into the void where nobody gives a fuck. My point about Trump is that it's not just that people believe his version of populist bullshit over the Democrats' populist bullshit, right? It's all promises of bullshit.
Exactly.
But the thing is, he 100% woke a lot of people up, because he said a lot of things pointing out The Democrats have done nothing for you here, here, and here. The Democrats' bills they put forward have fucked the black community here, here, and here, and Latino communities and everything else. The point I was making is that it's a lot easier to win these people over once they're out of that fucking helmet, that fucking, man in the iron mask of Democrat. I only vote Democrat. Now, if they're willing to listen to Donald joke-ass fucking Trump out there,
it's Jamal. It's Donald Jamal Trump. Okay.
Donald Jamal Trump.
It's also Donald Trump, one of the most persuasive people in the history of the world.
He's
even after losing the election, what is it? 80% of Republicans think the election was stolen, which to a certain extent, there was definitely fraud.
I also agree.
It was stolen.
But hold on, let me finish my point. My point is, though, it's very powerful. Once you can have any crack in that thinking, in that armor, we can get in there. That's how libertarians operate, man. That's how all of us didn't used to be. None of us were born libertarians. I came up Democrat, then Republican, then Democrat, then Republican. I'm switching sides. Then a crack got in there because I'm talking to Ron Paul. I'm hearing Ron Paul, and now that crack is my fucking brain. That's the way I operate.
Crack brain.
Well, you have crack brain.
That was in Cleveland.
The other thing about
we'll hear on degenerate gamblers.
What
you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Hold on, wait. Let's say this.
I want to touch on Ron Paul first for a minute.
I want to say this for the bonus show.
I think this for the bonus show. We're saving this for the bonus show? What? Come on, man. We're fucking ripping.
We're rocking. It's already over.
Things are just heating up right now.
Yeah, well, that's why these dickheads got to pay for the fucking bonus content, don't they? Save this conversation. We're going to continue this because this is a 30-minute conversation. We're going to continue this on the bonus show for the Pride because we haven't even gotten to say what we're thankful for or who our biggest turkey is. So let's wrap up. We're already an hour and 10 minutes, and I got to add in some fucking
Party is my biggest turkey.
Andrew Cuomo.
All right, you guys already said your biggest turkey. You said Andrew Cuomo.
You didn't say yours. Yeah.
Mine was JB says,
and Tom.
You said Libertarian Party.
I'm least thankful. Adam Gase, biggest turkey, Libertarian Party.
My biggest turkey of the year is actually my who I'm most thankful for, and my Libertarian turkey are tied into one.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Biggest turkey of the year, Andy Craig of Cato. Andy Craig is the guy who came on and he was throwing shade, and I never even really knew who he was.
Biggest turkey of the year.
Okay.
Of the year.
Yeah, okay.
And Dave
I know
Smith.
what you're talking about. The argument that Mark moderated.
I swear to God, man, listen to that guy. It was unbelievably difficult. He was such a fucking ingenuous dickhead, and I'm sure he'll never come back on the show now.
Yeah.
Andy Craig was awful.
Bigger turkey, Andy Craig, bigger turkey than all the liberal Democratic governors infringing upon rights. Yeah.
I'm going with
even
Andy
bigger
Craig,
than
because
Adam
Andy
Gase.
Craig's an enabler, and Andy Craig is also somebody who enables libertarians to attack other libertarians on the basis that they may be a bigot, a racist. Look, what's worse?
But that's just going to happen.
What's worse? Wait up. What's worse in your mind? A bunch of Democrat, liberal, lefty douchebag senators out there throwing crap that's going to come, or somebody that's got Cato letters stamped on him that's going after other libertarians who are doing the Lord's goddamn work, Tom Woods, and going after Dave and fucking probably Stapleton, everybody else that's preaching a more standardized, non-woke level of bullshit, and it's not trying to kiss ass, and calling them fucking racist and calling them bigots and ripping them apart and saying they're a tool of the alt-right. What bigger turkey can I give you?
The stamp of Cato discredits him, in my opinion. But
I think that's fair. But it reminds me of one point about you that makes you a turkey, McWilliams. Whenever you laugh and make fun of the left for eating their own, I can't feel but like the biggest hypocrite of the world because you're a libertarian. If I've never seen people eat their own more, that
JB, be honest. How often do I go after the libertarians? Not often.
Well, no, you don't. But it just seems like eating your own. Eating your own is a symptom of any group with strong ideological leanings. It goes for libertarians as well. Like the minute you deviate from what you think is the canon, the fucking knives come out. I've seen it happen for years,
but
so many times, like a million and one times.
Knives can come out. And on recent episodes, I've poked Elizabeth Nolan Brown, but I also have not, I don't disavow.
Like of anyone just talking about eating their own. Give me a fucking break.
Shit. Well, look, Elizabeth Nolan Brown went after Ron Paul, who brought me and millions of other people into the movement. It's just a dumb move. I know what you're saying, and it's not a bad point. But my point is that the knives that I bring out are more based upon, ethical things. I have no interest in liberty period contests in general. But when you got people like Andy Craig, who's going after other people and calling them racists. Do I ever call anybody a fucking racist in the party?
I don't think you're one of them. I'll put that out there. I'm not accusing you of this behavior. I'm saying they're pervasive in the You can't deny that. But I'm not saying you're perpetuating.
I agree. And we try to fucking say that you don't. We try to cut him out of our lives.
I would say on record that you do not. But it does exist. You have to acknowledge it, that it does exist.
It definitely does exist. And libertarians are worse than liberals or Republicans in that.
There's so many purity tests and litmus tests and fighting.
Yeah, and I hope they're hearing, and I hope they knock that shit off.
So when you say that, I always laugh when you make. I was like, look around you, McWilliams. Really, talking about throwing stones in glass houses. All
right, I'm looking around right now, guys. I am announcing Electric Libertyland is branching off at the Lions of Liberty podcast. It's going to be a brand new show and a brand new network. It's going to go in Gas Digital. Electric Libertyland starting on Monday.
Thank God. Thank God. It's a weight lifted off our shoulders.
What, the weight of all the listeners I bring?
But just one more thing on the libertarians eating their own, liberals eating their own, all that stuff. Libertarians, yes, I agree with JB. They are the worst political party or political philosophy at attacking each other and tearing each other down. And not only in that we never come together and decide to vote one way or in a single issue. It seems we never do. But even outside of that, just upon... although I will say libertarians are very good at getting behind charities. I've seen that happen, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But what liberals do is they'll eat each other up and beat the fuck out of each other. And then when somebody says, hey, we're all voting for Joe Biden here. Don't worry. He's, 78 years old and doesn't even have a mind. Don't worry. Just vote for him. Everybody votes for him. It's like, okay. So they'll eat each other, but then they'll get right in line and vote.
Well, there's also no way back. There's no way back to leftists. You're just toast. You're done. But they burn you to the ground so hard and so viciously you cannot come back.
Yeah, they do. The scorched earth tactics I don't appreciate. I'm a man who believes in redemption. I think I would say that. I don't think anyone's ever irredeemable. So I don't like those types of scorched earth. You can never come back.
You are on this podcast now, and you were formerly irredeemable when you started coming on it. And now, full bore libertarian.
Fair enough. But what were you saying before, Automat? I lost my train of thought. There was something that you said that I wanted to respond to.
We get to the bonus show, though. You
libertarians eat each other, but liberals at least vote for.
Oh no, yeah, you're saying voting for Biden, but like where I work, of course, I work at a children's hospital, predominantly liberals. And the minute that it became evident that Joe Biden probably won, you know what 2 grad students in my lab said? Oh, like they said this in jest, but because one of them was wearing a shirt that says politics as usual. And the other grad student looked at them and said, thank God we can get back to just regular old corruption. It's not like, and then we had a laugh about it. It's not like liberals think like the government's not fucked. They know the government is fucked. They just want their normal fucked back. They don't want the
crazy to me,
bombastic Donald Trump fucking visage in their face anymore.
Save it for the Pride show. I'm writing it down.
And we all laugh. I laugh too because we all know it because we're all not stupid. Right?
We know they like their fucking behind the curtain where they
like
see
their normal.
It's not reported by the media.
Exactly. Like this is what
I want to. This is a great conversation. Again, save it for the Pride show that we're going to do the bonus show because this is an interesting concept. That if people, I'm shocked anybody would think that Donald Trump is more corrupt than anything that's come before him.
I know you're not.
No, not more. Regular. This is the thing. That's why I like the turn of phrase. That. Not more. Not even for the
less. Pride show.
Regular.
High level teaser. Yeah. High level teaser, folks. Okay. So here's the last thing, though. I said my turkey of the year, but I didn't say who I was most thankful for this year. Obviously, I got 2. our listeners, we've grown a lot this year. I'm also very thankful for all my Lions of Liberty. I'm still unbelievably moved by the fact that, God, guys, it's like fucking it's like 20 years ago now, maybe less, 15 years ago now. We all met each other in college. We fell apart. We reunited. We are now very close, probably closer now, most of us, than we had been in college. That is insane. And libertarianism has brought us here, which is maddening. And then my second thing is I do want to say I am thankful for Dave Smith. The Heeb with the weave. He has a fake hair. If anybody doesn't know that, he is like Jeremy Piven, a lot of hair plugs. But no, I do want to thank Dave Smith, who this year hosted our podcast, the debate, right? I said we hosted his podcast, but we did get a massive, massive amount of new patrons off of that. So thank you all for that. Dave, thank you. Even though you continue to be impossible to get a hold of by text, by email, by tweet. I don't know how to get a hold of Dave. I'm just going to drive to his house and punch him in the cock. So anyway, Dave, if you hear this,
get a hold of anyone.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. JB, Odie, who do you want to go?
Me?
Go, JB.
I guess I'll go extra sappy because I probably don't say it enough. I'm thankful for my wife, I think. Yeah. Only I think about it, it's like being locked down and seeing all these people who are struggling and isolated and stuff like that. I never had to worry about that because I have a ride or die soldier right with me the whole time. And it's made it a lot easier having to deal with this bullshit. And, I don't think I say that enough or at all. So I just want to put that out there on record. Yeah.
I just want to put on record that JB's wife does not listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
never will.
Yeah, and I'm just doing this tomorrow, for no credit whatsoever.
Yeah. So, exactly. And on Thursday, they're going to say what they're thankful for. And JB's going to look her dead in the eye and go, that butt.
Probably will. Actually, I think I almost certainly will now.
Thankful for the titties.
Exaggerated wink. Took a nice moment there, Brian, and just totally washed it down the drain. But
that's what we do.
Anyway, on the same lines as JB, I will say two things. First, I will say, that this year with Felony Friday, probably I think more so than any other year, I have seen incarcerated individuals who either I had advocated for, or had had people on the show advocating for their release get released. I had spouses of people who were come on the show advocating for their husbands or their, I guess both cases, for their husbands' release. Both of them were released, and then to go and get like a thank you from those families and from those individuals when they got out, thanking me for what I'm doing. This freaking blows my mind that it's, just the small things that I do with this show could in some way make a difference. So, I mean, really the thanks goes out, as Brian said, for stuff like that, to have this voice and this platform. It goes to our listeners, and especially our Pride members, and especially, our longtime Pride members. I'm not going to list you guys off. You know who you are, the ones who have been with us like since the beginning. It's just amazing what you guys have done to help us along. But to echo JB, I couldn't have done any of this without my wife.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show, guys. Thank you for joining. Go ahead.
Because this takes a lot of time to do this, to make this show and do these bonus shows and to do Bravo and beer, to do everything. And she puts up with it reluctantly sometimes. And and in this past year, 2020, to have her by my side, and to have Ruby, to have my daughter, to make it easier to laugh and have fun. And it really makes me think to people who, out there who don't have that. And right now we're going into another freaking lockdown, and people can't go out. They can't be with friends. They can't be with their family. They're being told to stay in their house. And I'm thankful for what I have, but I'm, pissed off that, other people, unfortunately, are going to have a harder time if they're, not, with a significant other, or, don't have a, someone living with them to get some community, to get some friendship. So, Yeah, that's what I got.
Love it. Love what both you guys said. I guess now I have to, in case Sandy listens to this, my wife. No, you make a good point. It's I don't think people realize just
now. Don't even bother.
No, I'm going to take a different tack. No, my wife's amazing. I talk about her enough, but it is true. This show we've been doing a long time. We do not make actually this year for the first time. We're taking what do we give ourselves $100 payment, Odie? So we gave ourselves $100 off the show, $400 at the end of the year. So we do the show, every day of the week, 3 times a week, guys, plus all the bonus stuff. We have not been taking any money from the show. We've been trying to grow it and put it in. And obviously we help Donor C out. Still, until COVID ends, we're giving 10% of everything we do to Donor C, which is a libertarian charity that directly helps people. And I don't want to go too long because we're all getting bored. We got to do a bonus show. But yes, this show means a lot to us. It means a lot to a lot of people out there. And I guess that's why we keep doing it, because it is a labor of love, guys. That much I can assure you. I know for a goddamn fact that there are some days that Odie doesn't want to show up for work, that I don't want to show up for work. JB doesn't even get paid the pittance we're going to give ourselves to show up, nor does Rico. And Mark does his thing, whatever that is called, but quote unquote work. And we do it because we know that you guys are out there, and we appreciate you. So happy Thanksgiving. Violate all the laws. And from me, Brian McWilliams, from John Odermatt of Felony Friday, from JB Lubin, the Philly, we like to call him.
Conspiracy Corner.
Yeah, Conspiracy Corner. From Lions of Liberty, from Electric Libertyland, always stay plugged into liberty.